So I just totally went down this rabbit hole after a property reading because I don't look things up about an area ahead of time, but I like to look them up afterwards just to learn a little bit more about the area. It's really amazing to me. All of the things that have really happened just about anywhere in the world that are still held in land. And in this case, as soon as I started doing the reading, I got a really bad headache and actually kind of had a hard time getting started and getting tuned in. And then I saw this whole timeline about military regiment that had been attacked in this area and somebody significant who was shot in the head. And I didn't get a lot of details, but I also was told that they weren't really important. A lot of what I am being shown by my guides right now is to just remove old timelines, like literally drag them into the recycle bin. So that was what they wanted me to do with this timeline. But then I went researching afterwards about what happened in the area, and it's really crazy. It's eastern Kansas, right on the Kansas-Missouri line, and I had no idea really the trauma that had happened in that area when the lead up to the Civil War, because they were right on the border of a slave state and a free state, and it was actually called Bloody Kansas. It went on for years. Massacres on both sides of the border. Never mind the forced march of native tribes from Illinois, I believe, directly through this area when they were forced to be removed. So anyway, I end up giving myself these history lessons afterwards, and just, this is part of why, or a main reason of why I do this, because all of this is still stuck in the land and it's still affecting us. I mean, I just tuned in and immediately got a headache. So what's in the land really does affect us. And to connect this back to that post that I shared about the missing and murdered Indigenous women, many of whom are from Montana, is, this is stored trauma in the land. And I mean, it's just so evident. And when you tune in and do this energy work and can experience firsthand the pain and the trauma, you see it all around you in our everyday lives. But that's part really of why I even created the Earth Tenders Academy, because I'm doing these property readings one at a time, and it's not enough. And there's just so much more that needs to be done. And I think it's hard in our day and age to really actually understand or see things from the perspective of another in a life that we haven't lived. But when you are working in space and time in this way, you feel it, you see it through other people's eyes, and it will change your mind about what you might be reading on the news, or, what your experience might be in your own life. And so when we have the experience to connect with the land and we understand how to do it and how to respectfully interact with the spirits and the trauma and the pain and the activities that have happened, whether it be to the earth itself or the people who live there, it feels like that's where things start changing. It feels like that's where we can do some really useful work. So if you want to learn more about it, you can go to my profile. It's always there and available. Or send me a message and ask me a question anytime. Okay, wait. Now I just realized I have more to say about this now that I got started. But if there is one way to push my buttons, it is when I hear the comment that something happened a long time ago and people just need to get over it. Because you know what? Time isn't linear. It did not happen a long time ago. It is happening right now on the land, and we can feel it. It's just happening in another dimension. And so to think that we can just put something behind us when this trauma is still trapped in a location is ridiculous. I mean, never mind the institutional issues we have that are perpetuating things that have been happening in this country for, 200 years. So we need to remember that it is still very much present. And even if we're not having the experience of it, it's still there. And on that note, while I was doing the research on Bloody Kansas, I read a story that I was like, did I never learn this in school? Because I don't remember it. But that in debates on the Senate floor about whether or not Kansas would be a slave state or a free state, two lawmakers got in a fight, and one of them almost beat the other one to death with a wooden cane. How did I never hear that story? I mean, it was a near murder in the Senate. Not that I guess I should be surprised. So it really made me think, like, how much of that, I mean, that's just in our Capitol building. I'm realizing, like, how much is just literally filtering up out of the earth every single day in that location, and how is it affecting the people who are making decisions there every day? I've never tuned into the energy of the Capitol or Washington, D.C. before, I don't think. But anyway, I'm done now. That's my rant for today.